I want to quickly pass by and speak about seasons. I like to believe that when you have an understanding of seasons, you fight less and you focus more. What do I mean by that? I mean that when you have an understanding of the different levels of one's life, and you have the understanding of transitions and what it takes to grow, instead of you murmuring and complaining, you will actually focus, because you will have that understanding of, I am in a season of something, or I am in transition to get to a particular season, and this season has this particular thing for me. I like to believe that there's no way that God is not going to give you a picture of the end goal of a season. He may not give you the process, but he gives you an end goal of a season. And from my own head, I can say that he gives you an end goal of a season so that when you are going through the process and it's tough, you remember what the end goal looks like. And so then you hold on and you continue. So there's an introduction to a season. There is a process of a season. There is an outro to a season. But also there is an aborting of a season. So when you have an understanding of a season, you will understand that I'm going through this particular transition to get to this particular level. Now, a transition may not be the same as an introduction to a season. A transition prepares you to get into a season. An introduction is the beginning of a season. And then there is the process, the actual work in a season. Now that you are going through the season. And then when you have gone through the season, when the season has ended, then there is that part where you actually get out of a season, where you're getting out of a season and you start, things start making sense. In most cases, that's when things are starting to make sense at the end of a season. Because now you're seeing results, and now you're seeing things are aligning, and you'll be like, that makes sense why I went through what I was going through. Unfortunately, in that case, it means that you did not have an understanding of the season when you were going into the season in the first place. And that is dangerous. It's dangerous in a sense that you might actually, without having to understand you getting into a season, you might find yourself aborting your season, because when you do not understand the kind of a season you're getting into, you will find yourself fighting your season. So your response to that season will cause an abortion of the season, because you do not have the understanding of it. You do not understand why you're going through what you're going through. So now, instead of you having to focus on the next steps moving forward, you are now complaining. You are now fighting hard, saying, this is not what God has for me. This is not what God has shown me. This is not what, these are not the plans. This is not how it's supposed to work out. And instead of you focusing on how to move forward with the next steps, you might actually finding yourself changing an entire plan, changing an entire goal, and you go left. That is an abortion of a season. God might show you, for instance, that in a few years from now, you might be driving this particular car. Right here where you are at this point in time, that goal may not make sense. You may move with it with faith, but that goal may not make sense. And as you are moving with it with faith, something happens in the middle, somewhere, maybe like in 2 years' time, 2.5 years, and you're like, but God has shown me that, I'm supposed to be driving this car. And God doesn't give you the timeline. You can set the timelines for yourself. But God doesn't give you the timeline to say, in 5 years' time, this is what you're going to be doing. He shows you that in a time from now, this is what you're going to be doing. But the steps to it and how long it may not always be revealed. It may be revealed to others, but it may not always be revealed that it's going to take this long. And so you will find that in that process, you have been introduced to a season. You've been given the desire. You've been given a picture, right? And you have seen the end result of this particular season by seeing where you are going to end up. You're going to end up driving this particular car, but you have not been shown how long this process is going to be before you get to the car. You have not been shown what you are going to go through to get to this particular car. So now how you respond as you are going through this process to get to that particular end goal of driving that car is what determines whether you will get to it or you will abort your mission, or you will abort your season before you even get there. And when you don't have the understanding of what it takes to be in a season, when you don't have the understanding of what an actual season is, and you don't have the understanding of a season may take years, a season may take months, a season can take it can take a decade, it can take a century. You will find yourself responding to seasons in ways that will, instead of producing results, you will find yourself aborting them every single time. Because you are working according to your timelines. And that's good, that's great. But what are God's timelines? You are working according to what you want. That's good, that's great. But what is God's seasoning of that particular thing that He has given you? So it is important to understand, to have an understanding of seasons. It is important to know what is required of you so that you know how to respond to that season, to that calling in that particular season, lest you abort your season.